I'm back. You miss me? Harrison Graham here on the Chiefs Report. This is not a long-term solution, but if you missed it, Jace Andrews signed off for the last time yesterday. He has moved on to a new opportunity. So, in the short term, I will be on the channel for the most part. You might see some other faces here and there as well. Still going to continue to bring you guys content, including today's show, top free agent targets after the 2024 NFL Draft. As soon as we have a clearer answer on who the long-term host is going to be, we will pass that along here on the Chiefs Report. But still, keep it locked in. Subscribe if you haven't. Turn on notifications. We're going to continue to bring you Chiefs content all off-season long, so don't miss out. Hit the subscribe button. We got you covered here on the Chiefs Report. All right, let's talk some Chiefs. Free agent targets here. How about a guy I used to talk about a lot on this show, Odell Beckham Jr., who his wonky career certainly continues here. You look at the last 4 seasons that he has played in, certainly hasn't gone to plan for him. I thought he did some okay things last year in Baltimore. Is this finally the year Kansas City signs OBJ? I mean, we kind of thought for 2 or 3 years there it was going to happen, and it never quite did. Last year he ends up signing with Baltimore. I certainly think the Chiefs could add a receiver to the mix here. There's reports out there that Rashee Rice could miss up to half of the season. We'll see when that comes down. That could take a while. That investigation, obviously, as the legal stuff is ongoing. But maybe, just maybe, OBJ finds his way to Kansas City. If you want Odell in KC, type OBJ in the comments. Let us know if you want Odell Beckham Jr. as a part of the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us your thoughts in the comments. Let's go to the offensive line here. Charles Leno Jr., longtime left tackle with the Bears and the Commanders the last few years. I still think when you look at this offensive line, there's question marks at left tackle. Now, you got Wanya Morris, you got Kingsley Suamataia, a couple of options there, rookie, second-year player. I still think it's a question, though, and if the Chiefs have concerns about Patrick Mahomes' blind side, I could see them bringing a veteran in here, and Charles Leno Jr., I think, is the best option available. If he wants to keep playing, there's been some chatter he may retire. He was a cap casualty in Washington. Now, you could just bring back Donovan Smith, of course, who was the left tackle this past season for Kansas City. I thought he was okay. He was serviceable. It was certainly, he wasn't as good as Orlando Brown. Not that Orlando Brown was great here. He was good, not great. I thought he was worse than that. His PFF numbers, 55.4, nothing special. Just doesn't move as well as he used to, but one-year deal, certainly wouldn't mind it for Kansas City because you got to make sure that you're confident in that position as it is a critical one, protecting your $500 million investment. Cam Akers, who has bounced around a little bit now, at one point looked like a very, very good young running back. As recently as 2022, I thought he ran the ball well with the Los Angeles Rams, had almost 800 yards and 7 touchdowns, 4.2 yards per carry. Struggled last season, spent time with a couple of teams, and just did not really put it all together. But he's still only 25. I mean, he's a young player. As of now, the running back room is kind of just your top 2 of Pacheco and Edwards-Helaire. After that, you got guys like Lamichael Pirine and Deneric Prince. So I could see the Chiefs adding a running back. And kind of like with Donovan Smith, maybe just bring back what you know, Jerick McKinnon, who is still out there. Now, his old number 1 is now belonging to Xavier Worthy, but you're telling me you wouldn't bring back Jerick McKinnon into this room, kind of stick with that trio you've had of Pacheco, McKinnon, and Edwards-Helaire. Last offseason in training camp, all the chatter was around Deneric Prince, and then he just didn't play that well in the preseason. Well, Michael Pirine did some decent things in the preseason, but is he ready for a 53-man roster spot? Does McKinnon have one more year in the tank? He's definitely near the end. He's not going to give you a ton, but if he wants to play one more year, I certainly think he could provide some value. Still catches the ball well, good in blitz pickup. I like the player on this offense. Xavier Worthy, speaking of that number 1, if you want to get his jersey, pre-order it today. Go to chatsports.com/Worthy. I'm excited to see how he's going to play in this offense with his speed. Should be a lot of fun. Go pick up a jersey today, chatsports.com/Worthy. Link is in the comments and in the description. Click and shop right now. All right, let's go to who I think is one of the best free agents left out there, Calais Campbell, who does turn 38 on September 1st, but he's still productive, man. You look at his last 4 years, last 2 in particular, this past year with the Falcons, year before with the Ravens. He's been good, man. 12 sacks, 31 QB hits over the last 2 seasons. He can play defensive tackle. He can play edge. I think he would probably get some run at 3-tech and on the edge, and Steve Spagnuolo's defense, which gets me excited watching this Chiefs defense play, which was so good this past year, as you all know. Where would he fit in? Maybe for this group, he would play more edge, but he's productive. He provides wisdom, and maybe he looks at this like, hey, like I could hop on, help this group out, and get myself a Super Bowl ring on the way out the door. He's certainly year to year at this point, but it's not like he's just a castaway. Like, he can still produce at a pretty good level. And with the Chiefs, he would strictly be a rotation guy. So I think it'd be a pretty good role for him. And I think he could help get some of the younger guys out, like George Karlaftis, take the next steps in their career as well. Should the Chiefs sign Calais Campbell? Type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. If the price is right, I would certainly like to see it happen. All right, so we go from Calais Campbell to Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who the Chiefs cut for salary cap reasons. But listen, he's still out there. Money is dried up across the league. I wouldn't rule out a return. If they want to go cheap one-year deal and he can come be like your number 4 receiver, I get the guy is a bit of a headache and drops a lot of passes. But one thing he has proven at, going back to his Green Bay days in the last 2 years with the Chiefs, he is a playoff performer, man. 250 yards and 3 touchdowns in his playoff career in Kansas City. He made big catch after big catch. That AFC Championship game against the Bengals 2 years ago, he was terrific. Last year had the ice the game against Baltimore to help send Kansas City back to the Super Bowl. I mean, he just shows up in big moments for Kansas City. So if you want to bring in another receiver like Marquez Valdes-Scantling, I would certainly be open to it. You know, who can you trust more, him or Kadarius Toney, him or Sky Moore? If MVS is cheap, you could certainly do a whole lot worse. Couple more here. How about Justin Simmons? Now, this is a long shot. He's still probably commanding a decent price here. But you want to talk about an all-in move. I mean, you bring in Justin Simmons here to play next to Justin Reid. That is an all-in move. Brian Cook and Jamari Conner could be kind of your third, fourth safeties there. Simmons is still really good, man. 3 or more picks in the last 4 years. His production dipped a little bit on the back end last year, but he's still a Pro Bowl caliber player. 30 years old, 1 year, $8 million, 1 year, $10 million. If you move some money around, I doubt the Chiefs go into that realm, but it'd be fun if they did. That secondary would be absolutely disgusting. You could bring back Mecole Hardman too if you wanted. Obviously, the Chiefs traded for him at the deadline last year, and hey, he won the Super Bowl, right? He's just a vibes guy, right? He had that fumble on the goal line against Baltimore, which was a shame, but he tends to make big plays in big moments as well. Had the game-winning touchdown against the 49ers in the Super Bowl. He's got speed. This new kickoff rule could give you some kickoff return value if you brought him back. He's not going to give you a ton in the offense. He's going to rotate in. That's about it. But for cheap, get that speed, that special teams value, the vibes, I certainly wouldn't be against it. Pick a Chiefs receiver to return. Who would you rather have? Type MVS for Marquez Valdes-Scantling, MH for Mecole Hardman. Kind of just pick your flavor. If you want more of a pure receiver, you'd go MVS. If you want Hardman, who does some of the different things, type MH. Last one, kind of a throw-in here. Xavien Howard, who did not play that well last year for Miami, but I still think in the right situation could produce. I think the Chiefs are pretty content with their corner room. You got Trent McDuffie, the best nickel in football. Josh Williams, Jalen Watson, 2 guys that have played a lot their first 2 years in the NFL. Obviously, they traded L'Jarius Sneed for a reason. They felt good about those guys. I think they like where they're at. Now, if one of these guys got injured in OTAs or in training camp and Howard was still out there, that's the type of move I could see the Chiefs making to bring a guy in that could play well on the outside. But as of now, it would surprise me if they were to bring him in. So there you have it, 10 free agent targets for Kansas City. Just to rehash them here, Odell Beckham Jr., Charles Leno Jr. as well, Donovan Smith, one of those guys could play left tackle. A couple of running backs, Cam Akers, Jerick McKinnon, if you want to bring him back. Calais Campbell, who I think would be a good fit. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, if you want to bring him back. Justin Simmons, that'd be an all-in move. Mecole Hardman, and then Xavien Howard. 10 names that are still available. All right, guys, again, subscribe. My name is Harrison Graham. We'll see where this goes long term, but for now, I'll be here on this channel bringing you guys the latest Chiefs news and rumors. Happy to do it. Excited about it. Hope you guys light up the comment section on today's show, and we'll see you next time.